right. Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to tackle the world of fix and flips, which
Ooh,
we know a lot of you are interested in.
kick and flips. Very cool.
And guess what? We found an awesome source.
Oh, yeah?
We've got a first-hand account from someone who actually just went through this whole process.
First-hand accounts are gold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're diving into this YouTube video,
Okay.
and it features a real estate agent, Chris Thompson, and he's interviewing his client, Jen Pastorius.
Okay.
Now, Jen inherited her father's house and needed to sell it, like, pretty fast.
Interesting.
And it wasn't just about the money, though. I mean,
Right, yeah.
there were a lot of emotions tied to this house.
The emotional side of real estate.
Yeah.
Many people tend to overlook that.
Totally.
You're dealing with the grief of losing someone. And on top of that, you're trying to make these big financial decisions,
Yeah.
often under a lot of pressure.
Exactly. And it sounds like Jen and her sister, initially, they were just focused on just clearing out the house,
Right.
taking a few weeks to kind of sort through their dad's belongings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then as soon as the house was empty, things really sped up.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
Once a property's vacant, that's when that clock starts ticking.
Right.
You've got carrying costs, utilities, taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, you want to sell it quickly.
And Chris, the real estate agent,
Yeah.
he kind of stepped in with a game plan, and he recommended focusing on,
Okay.
just high impact, cost effective improvements.
I like it.
Things like paint, flooring, just a deep clean.
Yeah, that's classic fix and flip strategy.
Mhm.
Biggest bang for your buck,
Right.
No need for a full-blown renovation if a few strategic updates can really make it shine.
And the renovation, get this, it went surprisingly smoothly.
Good.
It was done in just a few weeks.
Wow.
The costs were like right in line with the estimates.
That's awesome.
And Jen seemed, pretty comfortable throughout the whole process.
That really speaks to the importance of finding a reliable contractor.
Yeah.
You hear these horror stories,
Oh, yeah.
renovations dragging on, costs going way up.
Oh, yeah.
So finding those right people can really make or break the whole project.
So here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Chris decided to price the house slightly below market value,
Oh, interesting.
which seems kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you undersell your house?
Yeah, this is where, a deep understanding of the market really comes in.
Okay.
He was aiming to generate a lot of buzz
Mm-hmm.
and create like this competitive bidding situation.
Okay.
So pricing it a bit below market value, he wanted to attract a ton of potential buyers.
So it's about sparking a bidding war.
Exactly.
Okay.
Drive that final sale price up.
And guess what? It worked like a charm.
Did it?
Within hours, they had an offer.
Wow.
And in just 2 days, they had 7 offers.
No way.
Most of them above asking price.
That's the power of pricing it. Right.
Wow.
But it's definitely a calculated risk,
Hmm?
Got to strike that right balance, really understand the market, make sure you're not undervaluing it.
Yeah.
It seems like Chris hit the sweet spot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But even with a really strong offer, there's still that hurdle of the appraisal.
The appraisal.
Yeah.
Yeah, a very important step.
Mm-hmm.
Lenders need to make sure that the property is actually worth the loan amount.
Right.
And a low appraisal can completely derail a deal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And it seems like Chris, he kind of anticipated this potential roadblock.
Okay.
He proactively spoke with the appraiser, highlighting the multiple offers they got and the strong market demand.
I like that, being proactive.
Yeah.
Many people underestimate the power of just communication in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So providing that appraiser with some context,
Yeah.
giving them some data,
Right.
really increases the chances of getting that appraisal you want.
And it worked. The appraisal came through.
Awesome.
They were able to close in just 3 weeks, which is incredibly fast.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know.
Grat's experience and his local network probably really helped speed things up.
Mm-hmm.
Even with a smooth process, though, you can still hit snags.
Like what?
Well, the title attorney went on vacation
Oh, no.
right before closing.
Oh, wow.
So they had to get creative with FedEx and a mobile notary to get all that paperwork finalized.
Oh, wow.
It's a good reminder that even the best laid plans
Right.
can run into those unexpected twists and turns.
Oh, for sure.
But it's also great to see how technology can make things a bit easier,
Right. Yeah.
streamlining these transactions.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Jen, she was thrilled with the whole experience.
Yeah.
The speed of the sale, the final price, the smoothness of the process.
It really speaks to the value of planning, good market knowledge,
Right.
and clear communication.
Yeah,
Those are key.
absolutely. I'm wondering, though, like, is this strategy replicable?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah, like, could someone else do this with a different property
Yeah.
or in a different market?
Yeah, that's what we need to find out.
Yeah.
That's what we got to figure out.
Okay, well, let's
break it down.
break it down.
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, that's the question, right? Like, is this fix and flip success a one-off?
Yeah,
Or can you actually, like, replicate this?
right. Can we take what Chris did with Jen's house and apply it to other properties and markets? Or are there, like, specific factors here that made this work?
Right. Let's break it down.
Okay.
Replicating success in real estate, especially with these fix and flips,
Yeah.
it really hinges on a few key factors.
Okay, so what are those factors? Like, where do we even begin if we're thinking about trying this ourselves?
Well, first and foremost, market dynamics.
Okay.
You mentioned Chris's pricing strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Underselling a little bit to trigger that bidding war.
Right.
That can be really brilliant, but only if you really know the local market.
So it's not just about finding a house that needs some work and assuming you can flip it for profit.
Exactly.
You need to understand the neighborhood, the buyers, the trends.
Precisely. You got to know what buyers are looking for in that area,
Okay.
what they're willing to pay, how fast properties are moving.
Right. Yeah.
Chris clearly had a great understanding of that Gaithersburg market.
Yeah, he did mention he'd been using this strategy for a few years.
Right.
So it's not like he just, got lucky this one time.
Exactly. He's developed a system,
Right.
and that experience is super valuable.
Yeah.
Knowing how to, like, analyze the market data, find those undervalued properties, estimate the renovation costs accurately,
Yeah.
that comes with time.
Right.
And let's be honest, probably a few mistakes along the way.
Speaking of renovation costs, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Chris really focused on cosmetic updates for Jen's house.
Right.
Paint, flooring, cleaning. Is that typical for fix and flips?
It depends. Sometimes a simple refresh is all you need,
Okay.
especially in a hot market. But sometimes you might need to invest in more substantial renovations.
Like a kitchen remodel.
Exactly. Bathroom, maybe even structural repairs.
Right.
If there are underlying issues.
So it's a balancing act. You want to make it appealing, but you also don't want to overspend.
Yeah, you got to watch that budget.
Right, because overspending on renovations can really eat into your profits,
Absolutely.
even if you sell it for a good price.
Exactly. So you need to evaluate each potential upgrade,
Right.
right? And decide, is it really worth the investment?
Is it going to actually attract buyers?
Right. Will it increase the value enough?
Okay.
And that's where your team comes in.
Okay.
Having a reliable contractor that you can trust.
Yeah.
That's essential. They can help you make those decisions, get accurate estimates, and stay on schedule.
And let's not forget about the real estate agent.
Oh, absolutely not.
You need someone like Chris,
Yeah.
who not only understands the market, but also knows how to handle all those tricky parts of the process.
Right. Like the appraisal.
Yeah, the appraisal.
The appraisal can be a big hurdle.
Yeah, we saw how Chris was really proactive with that.
He was.
Communicating with the appraiser, giving them data to support the offer price.
Yeah, that's something a lot of sellers just completely overlook.
Really?
They assume the appraisal is going to match the offer,
Oh.
and then they're totally caught off guard if it comes in low.
Oh, wow.
That can lead to renegotiations, delays,
Yeah,
even the deal falling apart.
I see.
Chris really took the initiative to make sure that process went smoothly,
Right.
and that really contributed to that quick closing.
Yeah, it did.
But even with the best team, the perfect plan, you can still get those unexpected hiccups.
Like the title attorney going on vacation.
Exactly.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
So flexibility is key.
Okay.
You got to be able to adapt, find creative solutions.
Like Jen did with that mobile notary.
Exactly. And it's really cool to see how technology is like making these things easier.
Right. It's really streamlining things.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the strategic and financial side of things, but we can't ignore the emotional part of this, right?
You're absolutely right.
Especially with inherited properties, like in Jen's case.
Selling a home that's full of memories tied to the loss of a loved one,
Right.
that is incredibly challenging.
Yeah.
It's not just about money. There's
Right.
so much more to consider.
Jen mentioned it was stressful,
Yeah.
but she seemed to have a lot of trust in Chris. I imagine having someone who understands those emotions
Right.
is a huge difference.
Absolutely. A good real estate agent,
Yeah.
they're more than just a salesperson. They're a guide, a confidant, sometimes even a therapist.
Yeah.
They can provide support during those tough times.
So it sounds like finding the right people to work with,
Yeah.
the agent, the contractor, even the attorney.
It's crucial.
It is. And
especially when you're dealing with those emotions.
it's not just about their professional skills. It's about their ability to connect with you on a human level.
Yeah, to understand your situation,
Exactly.
guide you through it.
And that's about building trust.
Right.
Feeling confident that they have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
It's not just a business deal, it's
Right.
a personal journey.
Okay.
Having that right support system can make all the difference.
So are there any specific tips or strategies we can take away from Jen and Chris's experience, especially for someone dealing with an inherited property?
Yeah,
What would you tell our listener who might be in a similar situation?
that's a great question. Let's explore that as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of fix and flips.
Okay, so we've talked about market dynamics, renovations, having that right team. But for someone who's like actually dealing with an inherited property right now, where do they even begin?
Right. It can be super overwhelming. You're grieving. There's probably like time pressure,
You might be facing decisions you've never even thought about before.
like whether to even sell the house at all. Maybe renting it out makes more sense.
Exactly. Or even moving in yourself.
Right.
It's all about taking a step back, figuring out your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you want to achieve with this property?
Okay.
Is a quick sale the priority? Or are there other things you need to consider?
Once you have those goals, I guess the next step is figuring out like, okay, what shape is the house in?
Right. What kind of work does it need?
Yeah.
And will that work even appeal to buyers in that specific market?
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, a super trendy renovation
Hmm?
might totally flop in a neighborhood that's all about, like, traditional charm.
That's true.
Yeah,
So it sounds like there's a lot of research involved even before you think about listing the house.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't forget the financial piece of it.
Right. The money.
Can you afford those carrying costs while you're getting it ready to sell?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have enough to cover the renovations?
Yeah.
This is where talking to a financial advisor might be a good idea.
Yeah. Jen was lucky that the renovation went smoothly and didn't go over budget.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what happens if there are problems?
Right. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
The pipe bursts, you find mold. That contingency fund is going to save you a lot of stress.
Okay, so have that cushion.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and Jen, she had Chris, her agent, guiding her through it.
Right.
What if you don't have that? Like, for our listener going through this alone, what should they look for in an agent?
Okay, well, experience with fix and flips is definitely a must.
Okay.
But beyond that, find someone who really listens, communicates well, and makes you feel comfortable.
Like someone who understands how hard it is to sell a family home.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to, like, interview a few different agents before choosing.
Okay.
It's a big decision. You got to feel good about it.
Now, Chris was super proactive with the appraisal, even talked to the appraiser directly.
Right.
Is that something that sellers should always do?
It's definitely a smart move, especially with a fix and flip.
Okay.
You're basically trying to show that the house is worth more now than it was before.
Right.
So giving them some context, like those multiple offers Jen got,
Yeah.
that can help the appraiser see that added value.
And don't be afraid to, like, challenge a low appraisal.
Right. Absolutely. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
think it's wrong, push back.
Okay.
Just make sure you've got the data to support your argument.
This all seems pretty complex.
Yeah.
Any last words of wisdom for our listener who's maybe a little daunted but also kind of excited about this fix and flip world?
Fix and flips can be so rewarding, both financially and personally.
Yeah.
You're taking something that's been neglected and making it beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right. It takes work.
It takes research, planning, a good team,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, a lot of resilience. There will be challenges.
Oh, for sure. Unexpected things will happen.
But as Jen's story shows, with the right approach, even something as stressful as selling an inherited property can be a success.
So for our listener, I hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights. Now, what about you?
Yeah.
If you were in Jen's shoes, what would you do? What factors would be most important to you?
That's for you to decide. Every property is different, every market, every situation.
Right.
But with some knowledge and the willingness to learn, you can definitely navigate this fix and flip world with confidence.
And maybe, who knows, your success story will be featured on a future deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everybody.